Good morning, 308. This is a weird little corner of my house with my giant painting. It's actually my fiance's. I don't really like it that much. But I wanted to read to you because I don't want you to miss out on learning about all that's happening with Melody just because we're home. So, we left off at chapter 20. Right before we left, most recent things that happened were that she was going to take the test to be on the quiz team. So let's see what happens. Chapter 20. I was right about the weather today. I hope the little crocus buds have tiny wool blankets because the temperature dipped back down to the 30s, and our classroom was chilly when we rolled in this morning. The PA system blared the usual Monday morning announcements about bake sales and soccer practice. Most of the time, nobody in H5, not even Mrs. Shannon, pays much attention to them. The craziness of our morning usually takes over. Mrs. Shannon had managed to get us a Wii game. I don't know how. Willie loves the baseball program. I have learned to keep out of his way while he pretends to hit the ball as he watches the screen. Sometimes his swings go wide. "A hit!" he'll cry out with triumph, then he'll try to run the bases in the classroom. Even Freddie can't keep up with him. I usually sit in a corner with my headphones on, trying to tune it all out. But today, I listened carefully to the bulletin. My heartbeat sped up and I jerked my arms with excitement as I heard the principal say, "All students who wish to try out for the Whiz Kids quiz team, please report to Mr. Deming's room after school." I was nervous all day. I didn't tell Rose what I planned to do. I thought about it, then decided not to. Suppose she said it was a stupid idea. I didn't think I could take that. Then I spilled tomato soup all over the front of my blouse at lunchtime. Even though Catherine tried to clean it up, you just can't get red stuff out of a white shirt. I felt like a slob. I wish I had thought of that this morning. I could have told Mom to pack a change of clothes for me. It's still hard to remember that I can say stuff like that now. I didn't go out for inclusion classes all day. I wanted to study until the last minute. But as soon as the last bell rings, I grab Catherine's arm. "Hurry!" I type, "to Mr. D's room." Even though I'm in the electric chair, we set it to manual so she could push me. I am too nervous to drive myself. When we arrive at Mr. Deming's room, a group of kids from my history class are already there, whispering together and going over note cards. They look up in surprise when Catherine wheels me in. "Hi, Melody," Rose says. "What are you doing here?" Her voice doesn't sound as friendly as usual. "Quiz team," I type. "She can't be on the team," I hear Claire whisper to Jessica, wrinkling up her nose. "She's from the retard room." Molly thinks that's really funny. She screeches like a blue jay when she laughs. I decide to ignore them, even though I feel my anger rising. I have to stay focused. Several more students file into the room from both grades 5 and 6. I don't know the 6th graders very well. They have different recess times. I wonder if they're smarter. They've had more time to learn stuff. A few kids point at me and whisper. When Mr. Deming hurries in carrying a stack of papers sealed in plastic, he scans the room to see who's there. He frowns slightly when he sees me, but he sets the test papers on his desk and greets us all. "Welcome," he says. "I am so glad that so many of you have chosen to try out for the competition this afternoon. It's going to be challenging as well as fun. Are there any questions before we get started?" Connor, of course, raises his hand. "Yes, Connor," Mr. Deming says. Will we get pizza and stuff during practice like last year?" "Don't you think you need to make the team first?" his friend Rodney yells out. Rodney is right. Let's do one thing at a time. Mr. Deming lifts the stack of test papers from his desk and holds them like a treasure. I hold in my hand the official test questions from the National Whiz Kids headquarters in Washington, D.C. I will be reading the questions to you, just as it's done in real competitions, and then he stops and stares. Everyone looks around to see what interrupted him. It's me. Mr. Deming taps the stack of papers for a moment, clears his throat, and addresses Catherine. "You know, I don't think it's appropriate for Melody to be here. This is not a recreational activity just for fun. The purpose of this meeting is to choose our official team." He isn't even speaking to me. He's looking right over my head at Catherine, as if I were invisible. Now I'm really mad. I turn up the volume on my machine, very loud. "I am here to take the test!" Mr. Deming blinks. "Melody, I don't want your feelings to get injured. The test is very hard." "I am very smart." "I just don't want you to be hurt, Melody." He sounds sincere. Sort of. "I'm tough," I type. "You go, girl," Rose suddenly says from the front of the room. A few other kids clap their support. This makes me feel a little bit better. Just a little. Catherine speaks up. By law, she cannot be excluded. You know that, sir. Yes, but read the questions to the students just as you had planned. They'll write their answers on notebook paper. Melody will record her answers, then print them out for you. How do we know you won't be helping her? Claire asks. Because I won't be in the room, Catherine replies. Too bad, because you might need some help. Catherine grins at her, but Claire just looks away. I tell Catherine, go now. I almost push her away. Thank you.